Here we're going to model an electrical meter box. It will be positioned on the side of the building, and it will consist of a cube and a cylinder. Let's create a cube and move it over next to the side of the building. Set width to 25, height to 40, and depth to 12. Modify the pivot point so it's at a back vertex. Let's position it into place, move it up, and center it so the pipe is in the middle of this box. And then snap it to the grid and align it to the building's wall. Let's increase the grid spacing back to 10. So it'll make the aligning to the wall easier. And then we need to center this a bit better. And I'm just gonna eyeball it. And that looks close enough. We do want to overlap the box over the pipe. Now let's delete the back face that we're not gonna see. And we have a starting point for our electric meter box. Select the front face and we're going to extrude it. Set thickness 2.3 and offset 2.3 as well. This will create a nice edge border around the front of the mesh. This will add a few additional polygons, but because it's at the eye level with the player, we do want to add additional detail to the mesh. It will catch a very nice highlight on those edges. And again, if you're trying to maintain a very low poly count, you may not want to extrude or bevel to create that extra geometry. Next, we're going to create a cylinder for the electrical meter. So create a cylinder and position it in front of the box. We're going to rotate it 90 degrees. And we need to set a different size. We're going to change radius to 8. Height to 1, and subdivision axes to 12. Modify the pivot point to be in the back center vertex. Then we're going to select these inner edges and set them all to a soft edge. This will give us more smooth shading. We now need to position this cylinder so it's aligned with the front face of the box. So we're going to snap this cylinder to a vertex right in this front corner. And once it's snapped and aligned, we're going to move it over back to center. Let's select the front faces. I'm going to hold down Tab, left click drag to pane select, and press Ctrl E to extrude. For this first extrusion, set thickness to 0.3 and offset to also 0.3. Then press Ctrl E to extrude again and set thickness to 6. Then we're going to extrude one more time and set thickness and offset both to 0.2. This creates the cylindrical meter section. Let's soften these inner edges for smooth shading and delete the back faces that we are not going to see. Let's optimize this model a bit. I don't like when a set of edges meet in the same vertex, such as on cylinder caps, so let's remove these edges. Then go into vertex component mode, select two vertices, hold shift, right click hold, and choose connect components to insert an edge. Then we're going to go down the front face and do this for all the other vertices. Then select all these new edges and set them all to a soft edge. This is looking pretty good. We now need to create a glass capsule inside which this electric meter is placed. Something like this that we see in the reference. For this, we're going to grab this edge ring and extrude it. This will create a set of faces that we'll use for our glass. And this glass will be defined by a texture which we will also use for our windows. Now these newly created faces are reversed, meaning that the normals point inside and these exterior faces will not be rendered. So we need to reverse the face normals so they point outside. So we're going to select all of these faces, go to Mesh Display and select Reverse. This will flip the face normals. We need to soften these edges and go to Top View, select the front vertices and drag them in so they're just in front of the inner geometry. Let's use a pen to polygon to close up these gaps. Then we're going to select these front edges, set them to a soft edge, then select these front faces. And we're going to extrude to add some extra geometry. So press Ctrl E to extrude and set thickness and offset to 0.3. Let's check to make sure we have enough space between this glass capsule and the inside meter. And we do. So what we have so far looks pretty good, but we lost the exterior border, the extra geometry we had in the beginning, where this cylindrical shape is attached to the box, since we used those edges to extrude the glass capsule. So let's fix that. I'm going to quickly add that extra border by selecting these faces, press Ctrl E to extrude and set thickness to 0.5. Then select this edge ring and move it closer to the wall so there's a slight angle to this border, so it isn't 90 degrees. Then delete these back faces that we won't see. And this is what we wanted. So now we are done with the electrical meter box.